The Neo Reality Entertainment brand expands with a relaunch of the Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk. Your host, Eric Brown, gives his insights and thoughts in the ever-expanding news world of comic books, professional wrestling, gaming, TV, and movies. Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniverse.
Today's edition of Neo Reality Collective is brought to you by Anchor.fm, a free distribution service podcasting hosting platform that allows you to record your podcast on your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so much more. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor.fm app or go to Anchor.fm to get started today. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Welcome everyone to Neo Reality Collective reviews of Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk. I'm your host Eric Brown, and today we're going to be covering the first issue of King Spawn, part of the expanded Spawn universe, which was launched with a one-shot story called Spawn's Universe. And I had gotten a variant that features a bunch of angels that look like from the 90s and whatnot, with massive swords ready to strike the heavens itself. But yeah, so to go and touch on my history with Spawn, allow me to just say this: I have never read the comics. Yeah, I'm going into this completely blind, not knowing the lore, the extensive history of the Spawn character, and not knowing much about, well, Spawn himself, unless you count the movie that no one talks about anymore, unless it's for commentary purposes of reviews, or when they talk about animated projects that have Spawn involved, or when you mention Frank Miller and how he says that's part of the canonicity of his Dark Knight universe, which asks the question, where is Spawn during all this after his encounter with Batman? But yeah, Spawn's history with me is a very, very interesting thing. So I have heard of Spawn. I did see the movie and I laughed a lot. But I didn't really know much about Spawn as a character or anything, save for that one movie, and what I saw I have pretty much no memory of other than laughing at the clown character a lot. But yeah, Image Comics is one of Image Comics' founder, Todd McFarlane, who is the creator and writer of Spawn, was the one that made this character, and it's hard to really say how I could get embarked with this when I have never read Spawn or any of the continuity of the Spawn universe. And yeah, I read the one-shot Spawn's Universe, which was a pretty solid anthology story featuring a bunch of interesting artwork and a lot of great artists involved, such as Marvel's Jin Chung. If I pronounced that right, I'm sorry if I butchered that. And featuring art by Brett Booth. Yeah, and for She Spawn and Medieval, I can't pronounce their names other than Steven Segovia. And I can try the She Spawn Markio Takara. If I butcher those names, I apologize profusely. But yeah, I went ahead and never really read Spawn before. So I thought, well, with Spawn now expanding into an expanded universe of material for the first time in pretty much forever, and my knowledge of Spawn's continuity very, I thought this would be a jumping on point for me to get into the Spawn stuff and the interesting lore it has. I never read the comics. Like I said, this comic has been around since the 90s, and it was once upon a time part of the Image shared universe with Youngblood and all that, and a lot of messed up stuff that happened in there. So I don't know what exactly caused it to splinter off into its own universe and not be part of the Youngblood books. So Yeah. Already we're going into this a little confused for me, because the only way I know Spawn other than that is from Linkara's reviews, and that's not really saying much because Spawn doesn't really have an actual review on his show other than being part of either the crossover with Batman or his adventures in the Youngblood books. So yeah, Spawn's universe is a series of anthologies written by Todd McFarlane and various other writers, setting their stage for the expanded Spawn universe, and ultimately kickstarting what would be this next big event stuff, along with launching the announcement of King Spawn #1, Gunslinger Spawn #1, and The Scorched. So, yeah. This is a story of angels and demons, hell and heaven, and I'm like, well, I like mythologies and darkness and whatnot, but yeah, I never could find what would be a perfect jumping on point to get into Spawn, because there's over 300 issues of the main series, so I never read it. I never took time out of my day to read it because I would be lost and didn't know where to actually give a proper start, unless I want to read all the way back to #1, and then I'd be more confused because then certain stuff would probably be retconned out of existence because, well, I don't know what the hell happened. To explain what happened to certain characters that showed up as part of the Image Share Universe concept they were trying at the time in the 90s for it to just fall apart. Because Image's idea and concept is that the creators own their works and they have their own little productions. And Todd McFarlane had his own production, Todd McFarlane Productions, classy. And Rob Liefeld had Extreme! And there's the gist. But to get into this, I wanted to try out this book. So Spawn's Universe, when they made the announcement that there would be a launching point for the comics, for the Spawn's Universe stuff, I jumped at the chance to get it when I had the chance and got into it. So I read it, and there's a ton of stuff in there that's very continuity heavy. Like, they mentioned stuff that haven't been happening for over hundreds of issues. It was like they mentioned this old man and his past with Spawn in the history of the universe since last seen in Spawn 100, which was 225 issues ago at the time of this podcast. So yeah, I'm kind of going into this very but yeah, Spawn's Universe is just essentially a launching gate for this expanded Spawn universe, and I decided to tackle my way into getting at least one of the big comics that are part of the ongoing series, and that is King Spawn #1, a new ongoing series written by another writer with Todd McFarlane helping in oversight. And the first week it was released, it had over 500,000 orders, which is a big deal for comic books because even Image admitted, yeah, we haven't had this kind of hype in, since we first started out. At best the 2000s when we never got that kind of big money. And that's saying something considering there's been tons of comics lately in the independent side outside of the big two that have been selling in the 100,000s and the 200,000s, getting multiple reprints, and multiple second printings, fourth printings. I think Department of Truth got a 5th printing for issue #1, which is really saying something. So it's kind of awesome when you think about it. But yeah, Spawn is the big book, and I never read it, so I don't know where to start on this. So I said I'll check out one of the other expanded material they're giving out, which is King Spawn. So after this ad break and everything, we'll dig into King Spawn #1, and let's see, what's it written by? Who's it written in? Sean Lewis, who wrote King Spawn. Todd McFarlane wrote additional dialogue, along with some backup stories. Since this is an expanded one opening issue #1 with several anthology stories, Working in the same vein as DC Comics' recent Infinite Frontier material. I got the David Finch variant, which is awesome. So that's what you'll be seeing as the cover art for the podcast special. So let's dig into King Spawn number 1 and find out how it works. See you in a bit. See you in a bit, everybody. And enjoy this ad break. Welcome, everyone. We're back from our break. Let's dig right into King Spawn number 1. So we open up with a classroom and having normal kids talk. Anyone here know what the Bible is? And I'm wondering if this is a actual public school or religious school. My mom says it's like a comic book. Oh, I know. There's lots of monsters, I think, in there. Mr. Reynolds? No monsters, Simon. Just love. That's cool. I mean, there's Lucifer and his war on heaven. There's all the stuff that comes out with the Bible. I mean, if you want to be pedantic and remove all that extra context, okay. I'll read you my favorite passage. Just let me set something first. Now, listen up. This is all about you guys. And the phone's beeping. Mr. Reynolds, your phone's beeping. Don't worry, there's not much time. You need to hear this. Happy shall he be. And the school explodes. Yeah, that sounds about right. Who taketh and slams thy little ones against the stones? This is how they always start, by targeting and feasting in a spectacular fashion as they can on those too innocent to defend themselves. So, yeah. Big explosion! Children are dead! And everyone is in shock. Except for this one guy. He looks like he's trying to do some pose in the aerobics after he's being flown away by the explosion. And the explosions continue. We're rattled with death. And the saddest part is humanity is unaware that heaven and hell have been attacking them for centuries. Sometimes just for sport, other times for specific purpose, to draw out their enemy. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like the sport part of that I can believe, because this world kind of sucks these days, and I wouldn't be surprised how 2020 and 21 have been. Jessica Priest, aka She-Spawn, former government Black Ops agent. I checked with one of my contacts in DC. Their investigation shows no prior record for that teacher. He taught 30 years without incident. So he just ascends to pearly gates with his arms full of trophies. Think that's what you think? Those children were trophies? Not to me. To them. Al, do you read? I've searched, but I'm not seeing any connections to shadow players. I think this is all human. Then look again. I've been over it 5 times. Then do it a 6. I'm watching a mother burying her son. My gut says if we can't find something, this will happen again. And he's doing the best he can. If you want to ease up a little bit, Mark's a big boy. He can handle it. I'm more concerned about that mother over there who has to deal with the fact that she'll never see her son, Simon, ever again. Surely you can relate to that. What? I know you're a mom, so what would be going through your head right now? Pain, sorrow, anger, you could have all that, but you want answers too. Like why something this horrible happened in the first place? Because mankind does stupid, horrific things every day? Yeah, mothers have been grieving for centuries at the senselessness of their lost children. What makes this tragedy so unique? It's a message, and someone's trying to direct it at me. And then he shows a piece of debris, and she asks, "What's that?" "Something I found in the rubble." Well, it's called a sigil, and that symbol tells the whole prophecy of what the person behind this is planning. Have you deciphered it? Not completely, but part of it says this won't be the only attack. I'll I'll need other shadow agents to decode the rest. So, you're saying they killed a bunch of kids to get your attention? I told you, we're dealing with the soulless. I can't deal with this. Now, if we're part of the reason those kids are dead, the least we could do is pay our respects. And Spawn, aka Al, being the not at all self-respective jackass, decides to ditch the thing. Standing next to dirt doesn't show anyone respect. The parents need answers, and if they knew why this happened, they want vengeance too. And yeah, we get a bunch of messages and whatnot from a bunch of users protesting and texting and conspiracy talks, police and whatnot. As Spawn continues his investigation through tons and tons of research and along with perching through rooftops. Time's against me. I can feel their clock ticking. The sigil also says there's a list somewhere, files with names of every shadow player struck here on Earth. The demons and angels hiding in human skin among us. We have an imposter. I'm sure that bomb-happy schoolteacher was one of them. Whoever he served, those that planned it, they want to be found, hoping the media will fill the airways with the sensational headlines about dead children. Yeah, they'll probably do that. Fine. They can say their prayers, or politicians on TV saying thoughts and prayers. At some point, though, they'll realize God isn't answering any of them. I swear to God, Senator, if you try making this about anything but grieving parents and innocent children, I'll ruin you. You hear me? I'll bury you on the Christmas strategy committee till you become totally irrelevant. I am politicians. I am an a-holes. And I don't give a if you are Jewish. Now, here's what you're going to say publicly. The school teacher was a law-abiding citizen and inspiration for others to model themselves from. Your heart breaks for the loss of those young children, but you're considering forming a new committee into school safety. Then add a bunch of sentimental words after that. It's that simple. Now get the off my phone. I swear to God? That was a nice touch. I guess I have a hard time forgetting my roots. Heaven needs more archangels like you, Mr. Raphael. I think you deserve a little reward for your efforts. I'll take you wherever you are, friggin' Miss Leviathan. And they're proceeding to bonk each other's heads in. Only for a demon to be watching it and showing up with his angry fists. How disappointed would be your masters if they saw their loyal servants in the arms of their enemies. Spawn! Right, why are you here? We had a deal. Yeah, we had a deal for you to not go ahead and interrupt when I'm going down on someone. I need you to read this for me, Senator. Don't listen to him. He doesn't have dominion here. I beg to differ. And prepares to grab the woman and prepares to threaten to kill her if she doesn't speak. You want your satanic mistress is in one piece. Do what I ask. Okay. Hey, just leave her alone. If I do this, no one finds out. You don't say a word. Let's get something straight. This isn't a negotiation. I'm calling all the shots. Now read. It's some kind of blueprint. Already know that. How's it tied into that bomb? It says there's a group. A terror cell of some kind. And some files. But the biggest part says that they're following the Psalms. Psalms 137. About killing children to get their God to reveal himself. Who's directing them? Can't tell. You're a bad liar. You're Pete. We've been through this before. You've got 3 seconds to level with me. 1, 2, oh god, it's gonna end badly! Metron! That's who it is! It's Metatron! He's on Earth? Yes, he's Megatron, reincarnated in human form, of course! Wait, what, you the only warriors or ages got stuck here? No, you trapped some heavy hitters when you locked the dead zones. If propaganda is getting to people online, social media, he's dictating it. A clue where he might be? The sigils indicates that it's the same place where hell birthed you. New York. And they've been through a lot. I'm too tempted. Metatron, I know the Lord. He was born human, but somehow conned his way into becoming one of God's hand-picked angels, the only human to ever do so. He ended up like I did, a pawn to be toyed with him by his master. But why now? If he's been here all this time, what's taking him so long to make his move? And why use children for his bait, when there's plenty of adults targets to choose from? But he chose to stay an angel. That's where we deferred. He actually liked being a servant, being near God, and one of his goals was to always bring the head of the Hellspawn to the altar of his God. But yeah, he goes ahead, walks around a path, smiles at a kid, and that kid cries as birds die around him. Yeah, that sounds about right. And the school explodes. And he watches the school exploding because he's addicted to that. Hey, mister! Smash some change for a guy down on his luck. Did I say you could touch me? Relax. Just wanted to see what you're watching. What is it? Some kind of action movie? I always like those. Did you ever see that Terminator movie? The first one with the big guy and all his muscles? He used to be a bodybuilder, I think. Heard he... Stop talking. Listen. Why are you in my head? Stop yelling! You're too loud, I can't. And his head explodes as the guy walks away, with everyone dumbfounded, even though this universe has been around for over 300 issues in the Spawn main title, so it should be more like a, they're doing it again. So yeah. And once I find him, then what? Metatron's vocal cords can damage human ears with a whisper. Don't know what it'll do to my symbiote-covered ears. Doesn't make sense, Sam. You think? Just because most people's heads usually don't explode randomly, even if every witness confirmed that's what happened. And you know me, I get skeptical when things veer this far from the norm. How are we going to handle this, Twitch? Not like we got a bat symbol or anything. Who needs Batman? He clearly doesn't know this stuff. We need to contact that Dark Justice League group. Where do I find them? He'll know. Don't know how, but he's somehow tuned to this kind of stuff. So yeah, I was like, when I saw this the first time, I was looking at this guy, the big guy, and I was like, oh god, that's Bullock. Oh god, they really went there. And the guy next to him looks like a also known as Twitch, looks like a slimmed down version of Detective Gordon. He even has a little bit and an angular chin. But it seems they're not shocked. They're just more like a, haven't checked down here in a while. Not since they abandoned the construction that sits right on top of this dead zone. The plan was to hide this portal, even if it's invisible to the naked eye. I got dumped here when Megalodon first turned me into Spawn. A light. Even this seems too obvious for a pompous ass like Metron. Which makes this a trap. As he sees a rat pass by, and lacking subtleties, and Spawn is known to be heavily armed with guns and his chains, he just kicks a door smashed open and finds nothing but ruin and bloody guts. What he sees stuns Spawn like few things ever have. The body of Metatron is splattered everywhere, his body literally ripped limb from limb, making him just a pawn in all this too. And whoever did it wants to show Spawn how powerful it is. The kids, New York, now this. Someone is letting Spawn know there's a debt to settle with him. But who the hell is doing this? And yeah, we see the remains of a dead corpse, all organs splattered like it was bubbling, and with the words bloodied on the screen saying, "Here lies Metatron. He wasn't strong enough for our cause, for our case." So anyways, we cut to the news reports of CRWN, Info Now, and Info Max. Well, agents today released this new information from their investigation to the school bombing in Seattle, Washington last week That bombing killed 16 people, including 14 children aged 5 or 6 years old. The investigators said that after tracing some of the chemicals used in that explosion, they searched the recently abandoned apartment where they seized dozens of hard drives that are potentially connected to an underground religious movement, calling them the Psalms 137. Allegedly, police found biblical passages taped onto the walls of the apartment. An anonymous source said the Bible passages seem to preference children and murder. No motives have been given at this time, but there are growing concerns these types of hate groups or cults could have memberships numbers in the hundreds or thousands, or strong cells spread across the entire globe. And Infomax goes ahead and gives their interpretation. To cleanse the earth, that's their goal. They want to rid us of the wicked and evil. So these whack jobs think blowing up kids is the best way to get that message across? Freaking idiots. We've seen these kinds of terror groups popping up online all over the world, and now we have the possible homegrown ISIS wannabes in our own backyard. Ones that want your kids? I don't shy away from that dark stuff, viewers. I'm here for the truth. And the truth is, my guns are locked and loaded. I hope they try coming for my children. Edge Lord. 200 miles north of Brooklyn. God told us that he would kill the firstborn sons of Egypt. His way, he was the way of righteousness. In Leviticus, he says, eat the flesh of your sons. And in Psalms 137, the Lord implores us what to do. Smash the heads of the little ones! Yeah, let's kill them children, yeah! Precisely. And so, my flock will leave a pile of bodies so high the entire world will mourn. That's when he'll come, when our king will reveal himself, and we shall deliver all the glory and all the punishment he so richly deserves. And so the comic ends with a shadowy figure, all naked it seems, disturbing, and replaying the bombing terrorist attack with little kids' pictures. They're screaming out, all hail King Spawn! And that's the end of it, but there's backup features in this book. Haunt. For 5 weeks, Daniel Kilgore has attempted to live what others call a normal life. It wasn't planned, but something sparked inside him the moment he met Linda. Oh, I'm pretty sure this is Wally West. In reality, he's trying to disguise himself for a while. Kinda asked you since Dan DiDio's no longer around, but he'll try and hunt him down anyways to give him a bad story. I wish the weather stayed like this every day. Hey, me too, but when it's crappy out, I'm reminded how glorious today was. Guess you're right. Hey, you getting hungry? We can go grab a bite to eat if you want. How about I cook for you at your place? You cook? Since when? Are you doubting my skills? Don't know. Haven't tasted anything yet. Seriously? My fava flail was world famous, you jerk. Hey, stop tickling. Not till you apologize. Linda comes to his life just when he needs something to positive to grasp on, and she immediately made him feel different. She's a demon, isn't she? That's where this is going, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. But the fact Daniel can't share his secrets with her is the only thing that still bothers him. Smells good, Linda. Thanks. Do you have any other knives I can use? Sure, there's a whole drawer full next to the sink. As the horror's hours now tick by, any sense of Daniel having a normal life has been shattered to be in repair. And we see bloody creatures gorged with knives around him and impaled onto a wall. In the back of his mind, a voice is telling him this is all too good to be true. But he was so desperate to cling to any normalcy, he ignored those instincts. Idiot. They knew you'd fall into their trap. They always looking to exploit the newborn heroes and their naivete. How's your pain? Shitty. Minutes later, you are still losing blood. That needs to stop. Angelic rays pulse state towards the hero called Haunt. Linda, I can't believe she was one of them. Only to reveal that he's in fact a demon, that Daniel is a demon, so yeah, that sounds about right. It's their oldest trick, prey on emotions. They'll betray our logic every time, but it takes them a while to dull our senses. How long was she around you? About a month? Good. They didn't get all they needed then, otherwise you'd be dead, but they'll be back. Why would she do that? It's not her, it's them. All of them. You're half-breed to both sides. Part light, part darkness. Just like your costume. Neither heaven nor hell will ever trust you. They always think you're aligned with the other side. That puts you in a bad spot. There, your bleeding has stopped. And whose side are you on? I don't have a side anymore. They each of them took something from me to prove their point, revealing his blind, removed eyes. So prepare yourself. Anyone who bears that symbol on your costume's chest scares them. That's what they've infected it. Your costume, beginning today, is going to slowly poison you. And he's horrified. Why are you doing this for me? Because of your brother. If it wasn't for him, I'd truly be blind. I promise to repay the favor. Next time you see him, tell him we're even. As the evening passes, Daniel is visited by his dead brother Kurt. You heard everything? I did, and I've never met that guy. I remember that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be explained later, and hopefully not ended pissed off everywhere. Meanwhile, in Nightmare, another backup story in this. Are the humans aware of your presence yet? No, I've been able to move our mission forward undetected. What about Simmons? He's busy chasing Griff. Said something about a shotgun issue that he's been trying to get through, but he hasn't gotten through with it yet. Chasing some of the others who fell through the hole. So they probably saw WWE Raw and realized Nia Jax went ahead and was screaming that again, so they've been screaming that for hours. He'll probably be distracted for quite some time. We'll need him soon. Or if they kill him before then. That's unlikely. There's a handful of others hell spawns trying to protect him. And you're mean that goal too? And the skull drops. Yeah. We'll be reunited soon enough, brother. And I'll bring our army with me. And the angels, most of them have gone soft, so it hasn't been much of an effort. It's too bad you can't see what I've done to so many of them. If what I see is any indication, it will be a bloodbath. These agents of God seem unprepared or disinterested in this war. At least a large portion are. What do you think happened to them? Complacency. The same sin that always held back the humans. Yeah, that's understandable. Sadly, some who served me also fell prey to that. Complacency. I'm actually entertaining 2 of them right now. Oh, then I won't ruin your evening, dear brother. Because those of us locked here in the hell can't wait to follow your command. Did you hear that? Some are still loyal to our cause, but not you. I disappeared for a while and you ignored the mission and the orders I gave you. Why? So you could have a fancy car and diamond jewelry? Is that all it took to want to be like the humans? To abandon me? I am going to personally punch you in the face. Greed! Your personal greed is what turned you into traitors! It wasn't like the boss, it was like to me! And he pokes out someone's eye. Hey, don't you dare insult me like that! And I'm not your boss any longer. And he feasts and devours them essentially and bites off one's neck, ripping his throat open. My name is Nightmare. Do you know why that is? Because I can extract your black soul and make it ooze down your body. And scoop maggots from the rotting carcass of other traitors so you can taste the sweet nectar of betrayal. And before you die, take solace. You're not alone. Others like you have also lost their way. They've been invited to this gathering too. Oh my god, this is like so awesome. I can't believe so many of us won the contest. And from so many different countries. This is to be a wicked party. Now it's time to feed my other guests. Yeah, that ends there. Now we cut to the hero. 3 months ago in the Brisbane of space, 2 cosmonauts aboard Russian satellite RX-2976. And it's probably gonna go wrong. Moscow, did you just see that? It was a flash of green. Did you capture a reading? See spawn through number 301 for the reason. 24 issues ago. Congrats. Fallout from that moment will continue to reveal itself to the world for years to come, though some of its effects are more immediate. I know this is difficult to understand, Alex, but my job is to make sure you and your mom are safe. Is that why Mom left? What your mom and I do is not your business, son. I don't want to go. I want to be with Mommy. I'm not arguing with you. We leave Friday. You have 2 days to pack your things. But now, Daddy has to get back to work. I hate you, and you always make Mommy cry. Alex's father will not be disrespected in front of his peers. Get him out of here, now! Damn kid doesn't know I'm saving his ass. The other cartel's threats need to be taken seriously. We need to protect ourselves. Let's get back to our meeting. Jill Kayamoto, he's got babysitting duties. Hours pass as that meeting continues. Then, Alex, what are you doing up here? Where's Mr. Kayamoto? And the kid's covered in blood. I think he's dead. Jesus, get down here! Check what's happened! On it! My head hurts. I need to stay here. I'm gonna tell your father what? And his head explodes. Yeah, that sounds about right. Terrified, the boy crashed into his father's office. Dad? But if he was hoping for any comfort, that wish was suddenly shattered. Where's Dad? Alex continues screaming questions as the stoic stranger, as the mass of rendered flesh quietly make bubbling noises. Human chunks of anatomy settle to their final resting place in a stream of blood and heaping intestines. Oddly, for a few seconds, Alex feels a sense of calm. At first, he's frozen, too petrified to move, but fear gives way to survival. Is your name Alex? If it is, we need to talk. And so he runs, as hard and fast as he possibly can. But this building is massive, with dozens of hallways creating a maze. He really doesn't know which direction to turn next. Only one goal remains clear. That's to escape! Though it seems that may be futile attempts as the costume presence is suddenly blocking his path, Alex collapses and emotionally breaks down. Oh, what? Why did you kill everyone? Not everyone. Not your dad. Dad's alive? Yes, just like you wanted. But you killed the others. I didn't. You did. It's the only way I can be here through you. You wanted help, so I came. Raise your hand. See what happens. The emotions mirror each other. Your dad went to the bathroom. He'll be as shocked as you. Next time you want me, think of my name. It's Comax. Oh my god, Alex! Are you okay? What happened? It wasn't me, Dad. I promise it was him. But now the room is deathly quiet. The end for now. Gunslinger! The year 1865. He'd been lying dead in that field for nearly a year. So, those that ambushed and slaughtered his caravan could be halfway around the world by now. Doesn't matter. He's gonna hunt them one by one until they pay for what they did to his sister. Bill needs to blast first. It's time to rest. As he settled for the night, and the ashes of the ambush exploded into his mind, his enemies, they each took a turn. They shot him, slit his throat, impaled him, and hung him. And their crowning touch was peeling his face off. Gross! This is the place. Dig. So, he went through a Joker phase in Spawn's universe and put his face back on, so yeah, that was a disgusting thing. Their brutal attack on him was revenge for him interfering with their sadistic plans. gunslinger was seeking to protect his sister Amy, nothing else. But things got completely out of their control. That's why they came at you. They wanted revenge just as badly as Gunslinger did. Well, they got their shot, now it was his turn. And Gunslinger opens a box filled with guns, knives, and high explosives. And he was getting close, so close he could taste their blood. Then something happened. 1 second, and he was living in 1864. The next, he was here, 160 years in the future. Robbed his chance to exact retribution for Amy's fate. He swears on his sister's grave he'll avenge them. He'll somehow get back to where he came from, and God help anyone who gets in his way. On sale in October, Gunslinger Spawn #1. Its quest begins. And that's the end of the comic King Spawn #1. We also get some spawning ground presentation about the Todd McFarlane interviews Sean Lewis, who is the writer of this book, and yeah, this was a pretty awesome first issue. The artwork's pretty damn good, and I really do like how I'm getting a start here. I'm still bogged down by continuity during the whole thing, but I actually did enjoy this for the most part. I was enjoying the story, and it did seem pretty crazy that this is part of the new Big Spawn Universe initiative. So I'm looking forward to more. I really am. I might pick this up more. Or, like I said, I got the David Finch variant, which was pretty damn awesome. The artwork is pretty awesome as well. Brutal and decaying flesh everywhere, and yeah. So this is now part of the shared universe, the Spawn universe, or Spawn's universe. And yeah, that would be... So this is part of a much bigger initiative by Todd McFarlane to begin his massive expanded universe with Gunslinger Spawn and the Scorch, which may culminate in more stories coming out. And oh man, he goes in and talks about why this universe happens in this interview and explaining everything. But right now it is the year of Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn coming out in October, and the Scorched coming out in December. So, and that's the end of the entire comic and the interview he had. Oh man, this was pretty damn cool. I actually kind of liked it. I've never read Spawn, so this was like my jumping on point for this, and yeah, there are still mires of continuity that I do not know about and probably never will until it's too late. In which case, but as a starting point for this, it was pretty good. I did love the artwork. I loved a lot of things about it. There was something, since this is a series that has been over 300 issues, as such, I don't know what happened in over those 300 issues because I never read Spawn. And so the continuity and mentioning of characters past is kind of a thing. But considering this is a story about heaven and hell and demonic stuff, I wouldn't, and considering how Spawn is literally a servant, was literally reborn as a devil creature, or after he was killed in his human life, and life went miserable for him. This is a pretty dark story with showing kids getting killed and whatnot, a cult dedicated to killing kids in order to bring about God, and all these, and even modern references we get. I'm gonna be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of wished they went ahead in their universe explained that COVID was some sick joke. Mostly because the last year so far has been a massive joke to our species. But that's a completely different subject. But yeah, King Spawn #1, a pretty solid entry point and the beginning of the Spawn universe. I'm looking forward to seeing more of this content, and I'll be sure to catch up on stuff. But yeah, as for me reading the rest of the Spawn's books, no idea. I'm not sure if I'll get into Gunslinger Spawn and the Scourge, or just stick with King Spawn, but we'll have to see when that comes. But right now, I'm going to take a look at King Spawn for the moment, and probably get back to you with more reviews on Neo Reality Collective reviews. Let's sign out with the outro after our final sponsor word from our sponsor. Take care, everyone, and have a good day.
Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniverse.